just happened. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. My neighbors compete to see who can put up more blinding lights. The kids all wish away the month 'cause they want presents in sight. This year had me so mad. I've been bad, got coal that is sitting under my tree. I think that my Christmas has died. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. When I was just a boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song.
Yes, indeed. It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, a year in review, the year that was 2024 in mixed martial arts.
Let's go!
How about it? The whole crew is here for the final time together. We're not even together.
I mean, the whole crew's not here.
Damn it, I'm here.
There's our little elf. Little AJ the elf checking in.
AJ on the shelf.
AJ on the
What's
shelf.
up, boys?
You are on the
I've been
shelf.
on the shelf a few times and banned from like being part of the show at times. How do you like it, dude? Like
I love
get
it.
the scarf in the right way here.
Very festive.
With my little buddy here, little AJ.
You look great.
I had to go to the washroom actually. It wasn't like part of the skit. you know, you get a little older, you know, things want to flow a little easier and more
You don't
frequently.
need to let us in. You could have just, pretended it was part
I
of the
know.
skit, and we would have believed you. You know?
How do you like it, boys? Where's your costumes?
I didn't know we had to wear costumes.
It's
I didn't know-
Hanukkah. It's Christmas.
Not yet.
It's Kwanzaa.
Next week.
It's what's it called? The Persian Yolal or Yola or something
YOLO.
like that. YOLO, that's it. Is it YOLO? The
You only
Persian-
live once.
You know. Yeah, but tomorrow, man. What's up, boys?
Hey, Fred? None of that worked.
Nah. Nah. Today they were trying to tell me, listen, the guys and girls at work are much younger than me. They started talking about this girl called What the hell's her name? It wasn't Bad Bunny because I knew Bad Bunny, but it's something to do with Bad Baby.
It's not a girl.
I'm like, what the? Bad Baby?
Bad Bunny
Oh, no,
is
she's
a dude.
a girl, but yeah, Bad Bunny, I know. But they were talking about Bad Baby, and I'm like,
Bad
who,
Baby,
Bad
yeah,
Bunny?
that's
He's
a
like,
Catch Me
like,
Outside
Bad
girl.
Baby. I'm like, who the hell is
Everybody
Bad
knows
Baby?
Bad Baby.
What?
Catch Me Outside.
You know that too?
Yeah.
Wow, I would have liked to catch her outside. Man, she's a pretty good looking girl. But the
Take
thing is
it
that
easy.
I-
She's
I
very
never-
young, dude.
I mean, she
What?
was very young a long time ago.
She still is
Bro, she
too
doesn't look
young
too
for
young,
AJ.
she looked well, maybe.
I mean, isn't that story like
Listen.
from 15, 20 years ago?
No, not that long ago.
But I was shocked. It involved Dr. Phil and all this. I was like, what?
Telling
I know
you it's at
Dr.
least
Phil. I
15
watch his
years.
shows. What, man? I was shocked. Bad Baby. I learned something new today.
Yeah.
Check it out. I know Angelo's listening. He probably doesn't know who Bad Baby is, but Angelo, Google it. I did. Believe me.
Not sure why we're into
But you-
Dr. Phil talk
I don't
right
know
now,
why you're
but
talking about this, AJ. What are we talking? We're going to do a year in review. 2024. I did a bunch of research. We are all ready to talk about the year that was in MMA for 2024. We'll also look back at our predictions that we made at the beginning of the year, or maybe the end of last year, at who were going to be the champions in every division in the UFC, and see how right or wrong we were. And then we're going to make new predictions for 2025. So how about that?
Let's do it.
We got a
I
lot
like
of
it.
fun going on. I think somebody's upset outside. I think my daughter's mad. I hear my daughter yelling. She's mad. I think she wanted to be on
Well,
the show.
2024 was a great year for the UFC. I think it was like one of the best years, some of the best fights, some of the best cards. Like, honestly, it's been a pretty riveting year without
Now-
even having like Conor in there.
if I was willing to put in the work, I would go and listen to last year's show, and I bet AJ said the same thing. Oh, 2023
man. I
was
said
a
it was-
great year, was a best year, was a... Oh,
But this
I
year,
think there's,
not that, man. Dave is
I think there's a
bad baby.
a war.
Here comes a bad baby.
Oh,
A little
there's a bad
baby's
baby coming up.
Bad
She's being
baby.
bad.
See, it's
She's
all
not
part
wearing
of the
pants.
skit. It's all tight.
You're not wearing enough
What?
clothes for YouTube, baby.
No. We don't want to do that.
No.
We'll go
That's
to
the
a
kind of stuff
solo
like your dad
AJ
does.
shot.
Sorry, bad baby. That would have been dangerous. Oh, she's big mad now.
Oh,
Oh, she might remember it for a
daycare.
long time.
Listen, you're not allowed to put children with no pants on YouTube. It's not right. It's not good.
no, it's
you
probably not a good idea. Yeah,
know? No, they don't like it.
not with guys like not guys like P Diddy out there. man.
Exactly. You got weirdos out there. You know what I mean? God damn. What a weird world. MMA, guys. Let's stick to mixed martial arts for the
2024.
show. Let's try. Let's try to do that.
Let's do it.
Can we
Let's
do
try
it?
Let's do it, man.
It has been a great year for MMA. The UFC has really dominated MMA this year. Obviously, they're the top promotion. Other promotions have just kind of fallen by the wayside. PFL, Bellator, whatever, they merged. It doesn't seem to matter. UFC at this point in time is more dominant than ever in the MMA landscape. They're the A brand. There's no other brand. I remember days when there were companies like Strikeforce and WEC and even Bellator to a certain extent and Affliction doing their thing and Pride, of course, back in the Pride days. Like, we had companies that challenged the UFC. It seems at this point in the game, no one is challenging the UFC. They are a juggernaut. They have the TKO merger with the WWE and everything that happened this year for the UFC and the WWE and just combat sports in general. It seems like they are now more powerful than ever. And we don't really mind as
They're
a
mainstream.
consumer because they're producing great content and the quality is pretty strong. But if you look at where MMA is as a whole, as a sport, they really are. I mean, they've always been the top brand, but now they're just kind of so dominant. They have a stranglehold, you know, on the sport. They are a monopoly, whether they want to admit it or not, or, you know, whatever. But they're, you know, as much as the NFL is a monopoly over professional football, the UFC is the monopoly over mixed martial arts.
I mean, I don't
Well,
think
you know
that's a
what?
bad thing for the fans still. I've always been a fan of having everything, all the top guys centralized in one organization. Like, if you look right now, other than Francis Ngannou, who would you really want in the UFC that's not there? You know, I can't name that many names. Like, Francis Ngannou is the only one that comes to mind right now. So I like that. I like that all the best are at the same place. And, you know, like, it's not like wrestling where competition can bring like creativity to another level. The UFC is not really about creativity. It's about competition. So you want all the best to be competing together, and that's what you have right now. So that's a great place for the sport, and it's offering us all the top guys to be in one place and giving us the best fights.
But you're right, Freddie,
It-
because when you look at like on the top 5 mainstream sports, like the UFC, I
pants
think
on
is
her.
ranked
Put
number
pants on
5
her,
right
she
now.
can come in. Sorry, she's
You
going
know what I'm
wild.
saying, Dave? Like when
She's
you
banging
look,
at my
when you look
door.
at
This
the,
kid.
what? She really put her on the podcast, man.
Well, that's it.
You know,
But
the
she's not
fourth
wearing
member
pants.
to
So I
the,
said if she
Ringside
puts some
Report.
pants on, she could come on. We'll see.
But I was gonna say, yeah, but look, I was gonna say Freddie was absolutely right. And you know what? Like when you look at mainstream sports, like the most watched, the top 5, the UFC is number 5 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, and that's the key thing with the UFC. I mean, like there's so many other organizations, like in Poland and in Russia and like in China, we see like organizations of MMA. But everybody wants to
1FC.
get to the ONE FC. I mean, everybody wants to get to the UFC, no matter what. People that have left the UFC, you know where the money is. It's like in some sense, it comes back to the UFC, the visibility and whatnot. But when you're right, Fred, because the UFC is the NHL, the NFL, the NBA. It's become the sport, and that's the difference. It's not only the brand; it's become the sport, and it's hard. Maybe 20 years ago they could have had like a push for competition, and that was Pride FC. And look what happened to them. The UFC came in and like pretty much swooped that up. That was just the beginning, and it just goes to show you how powerful Dana White, the Zufas and all the rest are. And it's only the beginning, man. And again, I go back to what I was saying. Yeah, 2023 was a great year for the UFC, but 2024 has been a phenomenal year. And you don't even have the Khabibs, and you don't have the Silvas, and you don't have the George St. Pierre's, and you didn't have Conor, even though Conor was there. That's how impressive it is. And I was talking to someone today, and I said, you know what? The game still continued, even though they dipped maybe a little bit. If you look at the statistical, growth of the UFC, it just keeps climbing and climbing. This sport has become like so phenomenal that other sports want to be a part of it. And we talked about like Topuria. Topuria is, in Spain at the soccer games, and everybody knows him. You got John Jones that could go to an NFL game. Everybody knows him. Everybody wants to somehow or another be tied to the UFC, and it's because it's a great sport, man.
Yeah,
It's
of
not a
course. I
barbaric
mean, I'm not
sport anymore.
denying it's a great sport, but Lior in the chat, who's a member of the team, says, as a casual fan, my interest in UFC has never been lower, needs more Conor McGregor. I think the lack of
Yeah, I agree.
big star
like,
power
to some
for the
extent.
UFC has kind of hurt it this year. They're trying to
I mean,
build
there
some
are
new
stars.
There are some stars, but again, we've talked about who's like a legit bankable pay-per-view star, and they just don't have that many currently fighting that are ready
but-
to fight often, other than Alex Pereira.
Can we say that Conor McGregor is the exception, though? Let's look at the history of the UFC. Like, I think John Jones is probably just as big a star as Anderson Silva was back in the days.
Yeah,
I mean,
bigger,
like,
I'd say.
yeah, even bigger. So, like, other than Conor, we got, nobody's going to reach Conor's level. It's going to take quite a while before we get another Conor. That I agree. But Conor's the exception. Like, there's some stars still, like John Jones, Pereira. I'll say Islam Makhachev is a star. Like, he doesn't speak English and all that, but MMA fan love Islam Makhachev. They love Topuria right now. So, like, there are stars in MMA.
Yeah, I think Topuria definitely became a megastar this year. What Topuria
no
did.
doubt about it.
And that can kind of transition
Dreykus.
into the fighter
like,
of the
there's a
year
bunch of
discussion,
guys.
guys. What? Say it again?
Dreykus, like,
Mhm.
and the fact you see Topuria in Spain, bang, you got a star in Spain. So now the whole country of Spain is like, oh, we like MMA. Dreykus in South Africa, oh, we got it, so the country is behind him. That's how you create new fans. Where, like in Canada, GSP was huge, and yeah, a lot of people stopped watching, but still, a good amount of people that loved MMA for GSP, like there's a good amount that still watch today a little bit of it. So that's how you create new stars, by having guys in different places succeeding.
Yeah,
I
man,
agree
and you got
100%.
other countries other than Dagestan, like in the Russia area, you got like Shot a Bullet, you've got Hamzat, you've got so many guys that are just there, coming, as future stars. They are stars, but they're going to be future champions, I should say. I mean, it's incredible. And actually today, like, the rumor keeps going over and over, and I keep saying it, they're talking about, like, Hamzat against,
Who's talking about that?
it's all over
Hamzat
the-
and
I'm
Pereira.
seeing it.
You're saying Hamzat Chimaev, who's probably, next in line for a middleweight title shot at 185 pounds. He'll probably fight the winner of Dreykus and Strickland. You're saying that he would instead move up to fight Alex Pereira at light heavyweight for the light heavyweight championship. This is the plan.
Benjamin's
Pereira
Benjamin's
did
Dave.
put out a Instagram or Twitter or something that said it's not going to be Magomed. Apparently, Magomed
Yeah.
Ankalaev was going to be next for Pereira, but now Pereira's saying it's not going to be Magomed.
Oh, why isn't it Magomed? What happened?
I don't know. All he's saying is it's not going to be him. I think.
I'm telling you, man. Wouldn't you love to see that fight? Wouldn't you like to see Hamzat
Try to
against Pereira?
find that. Okay. So Pereira says, let me get it for you. I'll show you the tweet. Is it a tweet? It won't be Ankalaev. And then Ankalaev responded by saying, this is, what, yesterday? Yesterday, Pereira tweeted, it won't be Ankalaev, crying emoji. And then Ankalaev responded, chicken, with 3 chicken emojis. So what is going on?
I don't know. But it should be Ankalaev. Like, unless there's some type of beef between the UFC and Ankalaev, I don't see why that wouldn't be the next fight. And, if that doesn't get made, maybe they put in Khamzat to try to appease the fans. But, I mean, the fight should be Ankalaev against Pereira right now.
It should be. But the money will be on Hamzat. I mean, that would be interesting. He would go up to his natural weight in a sense, too. It would be a lot easier. He has a hard time cutting, man.
Dude,
This
this is a guy who fought at 170 pounds.
I know, and he almost died. I mean, like,
Pereira's
died in the sense
huge
that he has
also.
a hard time. Yeah,
Is-
Pereira is huge.
Pereira is huge,
But Hamzat's
but-
not small.
I mean, Anthony Rumble Johnson fought at 170 and fought at 205 and did well in both weight classes. It's not
Different
impossible.
time, but yeah.
Different time.
Johnny put out a good.
It should be
question there. I mean,
Ankalaev.
in my
It should be
opinion,
Ankalaev.
I agree. I don't know why, but why would Pereira say it won't be? Why is he saying this?
I mean, that's
because
a
I'm
question
gonna
for
be right,
Dana.
guys.
It's weird. It's weird.
Dana wants that fight with Hamzat.
You're saying Johnny North has a good question. Has $80 been worth it for every UFC pay-per-view this year? I would say no.
$80?
For a pay-per-view, yeah. That's how much it costs, Fred.
I mean, look,
Didn't know.
if you're with a bunch of guys and you're forking out $80, it's not so bad. But like, yeah, if you're going solo, it's a bit steep. But has every one of them been worth $80? Look,
So,
they've been
wait,
pretty
wait,
close,
so
man. There's
$80
not been one where I can say is shit.
Let's say 12 pay-per-views. You're telling me I need to spend almost $1,000 a year to be a fan of the UFC? Come on, man.
For
Dana's
pay-per-view,
not
yeah.
dumb. He doesn't expect anybody to do that.
It's 14 pay-per-views this year.
14. That's even more than
14.
a grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did 14
That's
pay-per-views this year. Fred.
1,100.
The UFC did 14 pay-per-views, 43 shows, 508 fights. Of those 508 fights, 272 went to decision, 147 knockouts, only 83 submissions. 4 no contests, 2 disqualifications, 0 draws this year in the UFC. Not a single draw.
Who got disqualified?
I'm not sure.
Sorry.
I don't have that.
Man,
It
I
happened.
remember
Two
who got
people, one person
disqualified?
got disqualified for biting. I do know that.
Yeah,
One
the guy
person
who
got
bit. That's right.
disqualified for
Yeah.
biting.
He did the Suarez bite, man.
Wasn't it a woman who did this? No, it was a man. Igor Severino bit his opponent this year and was disqualified back in March on a fight night.
Jabroni.
Yep. Obviously, most of the fights, guys, end by decision. About half of that ends, half of the number of decisions goes to knockout. It's like 272 decision, 147 knockout, and then 83 submissions. People get tapped, but not as often as they get knocked unconscious in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened this year anyways. That was the trend. The trend
they break
is
it down
go
to
to
which-
decision. If you're going to bet, on average, bet the fight going to the judges, I say.
True. I was gonna say, do they have the breakdown in what division has the most knockouts?
No, this is my breakdown. I did the numbers, HI. I didn't do it all.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I'm not a
For
computer
real?
here.
That'd
You
be interesting
calculated
to see,
all
man.
that? Damn.
Yeah, I counted some things.
Wow,
Thank you.
good job, Dave. Son.
Because I was gonna say I would like to
Super
see the
Dave, son.
numbers over multiple years, but I'm not gonna ask
I
you
don't have
that,
that.
Dave. Don't worry.
Production
could-
team.
I mean, I could do it.
Make
but
sure you make that a short.
I had a little time today, Fred. So I made sure to make this show extra good, jam-packed with information. Fighter of the
pretty
year,
interesting,
guys.
Dave.
Let's talk about the big one. Let's go right to the
that's a
big one.
tough one.
I asked you guys a question in the group chat, and none of you answered me, and I was very disappointed. I said Fighter of the Year is down to 3 guys. Guess who
Alex Pereira.
they are. Fred, okay, you
Alex
started.
Pereira.
Pereira. Who else do you think it is?
Volkanovski.
Islam.
Nope.
No. Pereira. Islam.
Pereira's
John
on the
Jones.
list. Islam is not on the list.
Dreykus.
Why
Volkanovski,
Islam wouldn't be
AJ.
on?
Volkanovski is not on the list,
Topuria.
and John Jones is not on the list because they didn't do enough.
Topuria.
One fight can't make you Fighter of the Year.
Topuria.
True.
Topuria.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
Maybe Kamzat, but I would disagree on the Kamzat choice
Dreykus.
if he's there.
Dreykus.
All right.
AJ,
Dreykus.
thank
Okay.
you. Dreykus.
How many fights has Dreykus
makes
had
sense.
this year?
2, and 2 very important ones. Dreykus Duplessis has got to be in the conversation for Fighter of the Year. The split decision win over Sean Strickland back in January at UFC 295 in Toronto, and then the submission win, a contender for submission of the year over Israel Adesanya. Tapped
Impressive,
Adesanya
man.
in Australia back in August at UFC 305 to defend the UFC middleweight championship. Won it
Damn
and
dingo.
defended it against one of the best ever at 185. Tapped him in his home
Yep.
in front of his own family and everything. I mean, come on. That was impressive.
Beautiful.
Dricus had a hell of a
He's
year.
up there.
Alex Pereira is the only fighter in contention that won 3 times this year. Knocked out Jamal Hill on April 13th at UFC 300 in the main event of the biggest show of the year.
Yep.
Knocked out Yuri Prohaska on June 29th with a head kick. And then knocked out Khalil Roundtree on October 5th at UFC 307. Headlined 3 UFC pay-per-views, won them all by knockout, 3 title defenses of the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Alex Pereira is a beast. But, Fighter of the Year. Now, you guys can debate this with me in a second, but I would say Fighter of the Year is Ilia Topuria, the UFC featherweight champion, who knocked out maybe the best featherweight ever, Alexander Volkanovski, to become champion back in February at UFC 298. Then knocked out Max Holloway, another all-time great. Both guys still in their prime. Both guys ass kickers. Knocked out Holloway, knocked out Volkanovski in the same year to stand atop the UFC featherweight division as the king, undisputed king at 145 right now. To me, it's just what Pereira did was impressive. What Dricus did, I think, was maybe more impressive than what Pereira did because he beat Adesanya. Pereira beat Jamal Hill. He beat Yuri Prohaska for the second time, and he beat Khalil Roundtree, who everybody was surprised got a title shot. Dricus beat Sean Strickland, but it was a split decision. It was kind of close. Could have gone either way. I thought he won, but, you know. And then the win over Adesanya, very impressive. He's definitely in contention. But what Topuria did, man, he beat Volk and Holloway. Knocked them out. Knocked them both out. It's like, if you're going to be the top featherweight in the UFC for how many years now? It's been Volkanovski or Holloway. And no one could get through those guys. Nobody. Not Ortega, not Yair, none of these guys. They're not getting through Volkanovski and Holloway. And then Topuria comes in, and he's beating them both. Fighter of the Year 2024. Disagree?
You're making great points. Dave. You're almost convincing me. I'm going to stick to Alex Pereira. 3 knockouts, even though it's not. I mean, the way you say like Jamal Hill and Yuri Prohaska, I mean, those are the top guys in the division. Okay, Roundtree may not be one of the top guys. But there's another aspect of Fighter of the Year. It's, do the fans love you? And the fans love Topuria, but the fans really love Pereira, man. The fans are digging Pereira. He's a big star. I'd say after John Jones, he might be the biggest star right now in the UFC. And he's delivering, man. Knockouts after knockout after knockout. And look, all three choices are good ones. I would only say maybe Dricus because he has a split decision win. I'd put him third on that. But all 3 choices are very good choices. But I'm going to stick with Pereira.
He had a great year.
Freddie's got a point.
Freddie's
got a good point, and you know what? He has 3 title defenses. The guy has been like just phenomenal. I mean, he goes to countries like, you know, I seen like videos of him going to Korea, and it's just like pandemonium. People just love this guy. I mean, he goes beyond just the fighter, and I think the fighting game that he brings and that marketable like capability that he has, you know, he could be an action figure. And you got to ask yourself, can Topuria be an action figure? Yes or no? Can Pereira be an action figure? Chances are it's a yes. And that's what makes Fighter of the Year. And I kind of agree with Fred on that. Absolutely, man. When he comes out with his Amazonian like wig and he does his steps and I would buy him, man. And you would buy him too if you saw a Pereira action figure at Winners or Walmart or wherever the hell. I know you, Dave. You would buy it in a split second.
Probably.
Am I right? Is AJ right?
I mean, probably.
I mean, he
Say
would
it,
buy
Dave.
the
Johnny,
Topuria
get the
one
tape
also,
ready.
but
I'd buy the Topuria one too. I'd buy the
But who
Jim
would you buy
Miller
first?
action figure. I'm buying everybody.
Nah.
Who we kidding?
You know what I'm saying. But you know what? Fred's got the point. It's not only about the fight, but listen, man, Topuria has been phenomenal. He's 16-0, this guy. The guy is
Topuria's
he's
a
brought,
star
like,
also,
fighting into
man.
Europe at a, just
not
as
gonna
high as a
dismiss
level as
him.
Conor did. And that's impressive.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. How about knockout of the year? We had some impressive knockouts. A lot of people going to sleep this year. A lot of highlights, including John Jones spinning back kick on Stipe Miocic. I mean, that was
nasty.
just an unbelievable strike that put Stipe down. A beautiful kick from the greatest fighter of all time, John Jones. Alex Pereira's head kick on Yuri Prohaska. Alex Pereira's left hook on Jamal Hill. I mean, this guy was a highlight machine this year. Pereira is a beast. Max Holloway, when he knocked out Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. That was pretty sweet, right?
That was crazy, man.
I think that might be knockout of the year. Shara Bullett's double spinning back fist on Armin Petrosian when he went pam, double spinning back fist to knock the guy out. That was pretty
It's
sweet.
hard,
And
man.
Dustin
There's so many
Poirier
good
when he
ones.
hit the right hook on Benoit Saint Denis and put him to sleep back at UFC 299 on March the 9th. Also very nice.
Then-
But I think you got to give it to Max Holloway.
And then you got other
Yeah.
fights too, Dave, that have no big names. Like I was looking at some of the stats, and then you got Zellhuber versus Ribovics. That fight, man, a lot of people rank that as like the best fight of the year. That was an insane fight. That was rock 'em, sock 'em all the way through, man.
Yeah,
You know?
but it doesn't have
But
that
it's
marquee value.
It's KO of the year also.
I think knockout of the
Yeah.
year
Fighter.
is Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, and I think fight of the year is Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje.
I think that KO, you got to give it to Holloway. Yeah, the way he called it to the middle and all, that was spectacular. But the Pereira one against Hill, where he goes to, was it Herb Dean? He's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm all right. Like, I got hit in the nuts, but I'm all right.
Yeah, and
And
then
then
he knocked
boom,
him out.
knocks him out.
Crazy.
Yeah, so those would be my two favorites, but I'll go with a Holloway. I agree
Yeah.
on that one.
How
I
about
agree. I agree with you on that as well. Because listen,
Yeah.
when you can end the fight with the BMF, the baddest motherfucker on the planet. These guys are, and you got to give a lot of credit to Gaethje too. It's not like Max Holloway fought an unbelievable fight, but so did Gaethje. But to knock him out with 1 second left, you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
deserves it. And I
It was
agree with you
unbelievable.
guys. There were so many great fights, man. Makachev against Poirier, Gamrot against Hooker. There's so many. I was looking at some of the highlights, and I'm like, holy shit. But Pereira falls on a lot of the highlights, man. But if you have to take the reign, it goes to Gaethje versus Holloway. That fight was, I could watch it again now.
Yeah. And that's why I think above all the fights that I saw this year, I didn't even really rank the fights of the year because to me, that fight was the fight. It was a classic. I think it was the only classic that the UFC produced this year. A true fight classic. Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. That's the type of fight you could watch over and over again.
Yep.
Legendary.
But I
It was
feel
like
like-
it was like a Dan Henderson Shogun Hua type fight where it's just like, God damn, I
It-
can't
it-
believe
it
these
was
guys are
great.
doing this.
It was great, but Holloway was dominating that fight. Like, he was winning that fight on the scorecards. And to me, it showed more about Max, like, going to the middle, risking it all when he already had the win in his pocket. So, like, yeah, fight of the year, I could see it, man, but it's more about Max moment. That was Max moment.
It was quite a moment. It was quite a moment. I mean, that's going to be a legendary thing that'll live on for a long time. You know? Like that type of thing, you do that, everybody's watching. That was a big deal. How about the submission of the year? I thought we saw some nice submissions. We saw Islam Makhachev hit a Bravo choke on Dustin Poirier at UFC 302. You saw Dricus Duplessis with his face crank thing on Israel Adesanya to finish him. Brian Ortega with a nice arm triangle choke on Yair Rodriguez back at UFC Mexico City. I thought that was a really sweet arm triangle, the way he transitioned into it. But for me, the submission of the year has got to be the one that I will never, ever forget. that is etched in my memory. It is Khamzat Chimaev's disgusting face crank, face crush of Robert Whittaker at UFC 308 on October 26th. I will never,
That was nasty.
ever forget what Khamzat did to that man. Never.
Yeah, you're right. And didn't the blood come pouring out of his mouth? He dislocated his jaw. Or something weird happened to his mouth. It was
crazy.
sick.
He busted his teeth. It was so crazy.
It's crazy. And I knew you were going to call that one. I was hoping you were.
I'm not sure how dental care works in Australia, but here in Canada, like Robert Whittaker would have spent his whole paycheck of the night on fixing that.
Yep, for sure. I don't know if he's got fight insurance for the dental. I wonder.
They probably do. I
But,
hope so.
I mean, there's no debate, guys. I mentioned that submission, and you go, yeah, oh yeah, submission of the year by far. It was disgusting.
yeah.
It was a submission, but it was a nasty submission. That's
It was
the difference.
terrifying.
I'll give a honorable second to Dricus because tapping
Yep.
Adesanya. Like at some point, I was close to calling Adesanya the GOAT of middleweight. I still think Anderson Silva's probably the GOAT there, but Adesanya was getting up there, and for Dricus to tap him, that's a nice accomplishment.
For Hamza to do what he did to Whittaker too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not just that he did that to a person, because I mean, just doing that to anybody is horrifying. But he did it to Robert Whittaker.
Let's just hope this middleweight division is active this year, man. Because now it's Dricus and Strickland. When is that? February, I think, something like that.
I think so.
So, let's hope, man, we get at least 2 title fights at middleweight this year, if not 3, man. Give me one this summer. Give me one at the end of next year. Let's keep this division active, man, because they got some good fighters right now.
Dricus Strickland, February in Australia. Neither of them are Australian. That's weird. But the next pay-per-view, guys, I can't wait. UFC 311, January 18th, 2025. Islam Makhachev, Arman Sarukian, the rematch. UFC lightweight title on the line. Co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili, Umar Nurmagomedov, UFC bantamweight title on the line. Then you got Beneil Dariush against Hanato Moicano, Jamal Hill against Yuri Prohaska, and Kevin Holland against Rainier de Ridder. But, whatever. Prohaska and Hill, Umar and Merab, and Islam and Sarukian. Yes.
Solid
Love it.
card.
So good.
Yep.
What was the best pay-per-view this year? Was it UFC 300, where we saw on the pay-per-view Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage, Arman Sarukian over Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway over Justin Gaethje, Zhang Wei Li over Yan Jiaonan, and Alex Pereira over Jamal Hill? UFC 300. Was that the pay-per-view of the year? Or was it UFC 306, UFC Noche, at the Sphere? That was Merab beating Sean O'Malley, Valentina over Alexa Grasso, Diego Lopes being Brian Ortega, and some other fights. Or was it UFC 311? No, sorry, not UFC 311. That hasn't happened yet. Was it UFC 308, which was back in October in Abu Dhabi? Topuria over Holloway, Khamzat over Whittaker, Magomed over Rakic, Murphy over Ige, and Shara Bullet over Petrosian.
Yeah, that was a good one, man.
We had some good pay-per-views this year.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Johnny was saying about the $80, but man, some of these were worth the effort.
UFC 301 was the worst show of the year. It was definitely not worth any money. That was the worst pay-per-view of the year by far, headlined by Alexander Pantoja and Steve Erceg for the UFC flyweight title. Worst of the year. We didn't even do a watch along for that one. That was the one that we boycotted because it was so garbage.
Yee. It's gonna be I'm looking like at both of them, man. But
What do you think?
I'd have to
Pay-per-view
say-
of the year. 300, 308?
308.
308, I would say.
I'm
It was
going-
pretty sick.
Yeah.
I'm going 300. I'm sticking to the Max Holloway festival. I know he lost to Topuria this year, but that Justin Gaethje moment was incredible. That knockout against
True.
Jamal Hill was incredible. That was two of the best knockouts of the year on the same card. And I forget what other fights you said was on 300, but that was a solid card.
It was good, but I remember it feeling too long. Like, by the end of it, I was like, that was too much. It was just too long. I feel like 308 was perfect. I think they hit their perfect stride at UFC 308, but I think overall the UFC had a great year. They had some great pay-per-views. I think they only missed once, which is saying a lot. They did 14 of these things, and 13 of them were home runs. Like, excellent. Excellent.
It's tough, man. It's tough to call, but it just goes to show you the UFC won and Dana won. 13 out of 14 winners.
Dana won
You know?
so big this year, right? I mean, he got a president elected. He did everything. Dana White won 2024. The UFC killed it. He's walking out the president in his pocket. Like, he can do anything. He could do anything in America and get away with it at this point. He is owning all of America. Dana's the man. You know what
That's
I mean?
why he's gonna make the fight. That's why he's gonna make the fight for John Jones, man. He's gonna call it.
He says he's making that fight. John Jones, Tom Aspinall. You think that fight actually happens?
I think so, man.
I'm sorry.
that's what's
Yeah, I'm
gonna
starting to think it will. I've
Okay.
been saying John Jones is not retiring right now.
Well, prediction time, guys. Prediction time. Let's first take a look at how we did, okay? Our predictions for the heavyweight champion of the world back in, I'd say, December 2023. Who was going to be the champion at the end of 2024? Where'd AJ go?
I don't know.
I'm here.
Oh,
Here, I'm
okay.
here. Freaking
I
head gear is, like,
predicted-
itching me.
That Tom Aspinall would be heavyweight champion, and so did AJ.
Yep.
Fred predicted John Jones. I think we're all right.
No, I'm
Kind of.
right.
Yeah. Interim.
How are
interim,
you
you're
right?
Right.
Aspinall's
Yeah.
the interim champion.
Yeah, and John Jones is the lineal champion.
That's correct, but come on, let's be real.
I should get a bonus point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, Fred gets a bonus. He's right.
Johnny North says, slapped his wife and you still praise him. Yeah, exactly. Dana White, like, somehow he gets away with everything. People are still praising him. I mean, he's a hell of a promoter.
Oh.
Vince McMahon
see, when
was
he
a
said
hell of
that,
a
I
wrestling
thought he was
promoter
talking
too.
about
Doesn't
John
mean
Jones.
he's not an evil monster. Take it easy. Huh?
When you read that comment to me, I thought he was talking about John Jones, and then you said Dana White. I said, oh, yeah, it's true. He slept
Him too.
also.
Yeah, him too.
He's getting ready for the slap fest.
Ooh, guys, how about this? How about this, guys? Who would be the light heavyweight champion at the end of 2024? Fred, do you remember who you predicted?
Nope. Pereira.
Jamal Hill.
Wow.
Incorrect.
I regret that
AJ,
one.
do you remember who you predicted? I like your pick, but turned out to be wrong.
What did I say? Dominic Reyes?
You picked Magomed Ankalaev. Good pick.
Yeah, I did. That's right. Yeah,
but
that
he
was
did
good.
not win. He did not become champion yet. Alex Pereira was my pick, and he is the champion, so I got that one right. None of us
That was
predicted
close.
the middleweight championship correctly. Freddie predicted Adesanya would finish the year as champion. I predicted Khamzat would finish the year as champion, and AJ predicted Sean Strickland would finish the year as champion, and we were all wrong.
He's right.
Dricus
What?
finished the year as champion.
That was close, man. He's ranked number 1, Sean.
Anybody pick Bilal? I doubt it.
Nope. We all thought Shavkat Rakhmonov would end the year as champion. He just hasn't got there yet. I think he'll end 2025 as champion. Spoiler for my picks.
I'm not sure. I think Bilal beats him.
Okay. You might be right.
Yeah, I think Shavkat. He had not the greatest last fight, Shavkat, but he really is the future. You can see.
I think you guys are
Like, even when he-
underestimating how good Ian Gary is.
I agree with you too.
I think
Dave.
Ian
You're
Gary
right.
would also beat Bilal.
right now.
I think that's what's going on there.
Well, he is the
Maybe.
future. We said that he would be a future champion in about
Yeah.
3 years.
He's good, man. He's really good.
I
Well,
still
we
give
were
it
all
to
wrong.
Shavkat.
Bilal Muhammad is the welterweight champion. Shavkat isn't, so we were all incorrect. We all thought Islam Makhachev would end the year as 155 champion. We're all right on that, and I think you could just
Yep.
keep making that pick forever until he retires, and that'll happen. The guy's
That's
a
it.
beast.
Another Khabib in the making, man.
He's the man. Goddamn, you gotta love Islam Makhachev. What a great fighter.
He's a beast, man.
Featherweight champion. Oof, I got this one right, guys. I picked Ilia Topuria. You guys both picked Volkanovski.
You did,
Yeah.
man. Rank
I'm
number
surprised.
one, Volkanovski, man.
I picked
Yeah.
Topuria. You guys both went with Volk. I had faith in the young Spaniard, and he came through for me.
Matador. He did it,
There
man.
you go.
Especially that Freddy's half Spanish, man.
Ooh,
He
man.
go with his countryman.
Guys, my predictions were pretty good. I haven't looked at these since we made them. Like, I mean, I have from time to time, but I haven't in a while. Like, my bantamweight prediction, I picked Merab to end the year as champion.
You did?
Freddie, you picked O'Malley. AJ, you picked Umar.
Man,
I'm surprised because
Umar's
once
gonna-
the fight happened, I picked Merab and you picked O'Malley.
Yeah, I should have stuck with my guns from last year.
But Umar's coming, man. Umar's there, guys. He's
I think
knocking on the
Umar
door.
is probably next. Yeah, I think you're right. But he's not there yet. I did say Merab would end the year as champion, and wow, I got that one right. We didn't get the flyweight champion. Who is the flyweight champion?
It's,
Pantoja.
Pantoja.
Oh, wait, Fred got that. Pantoja. Freddie, good for you.
Way
I
to go,
picked-
Freddie.
I picked Tagir Ulanbekov. I don't know where he's at right now. And AJ picked Amir Albazi.
Number 11.
Number 11. Didn't get there.
Yeah.
And
Amir
AJ, you
is
took
there.
Amir
He's ranked number
Albazi. Where's he
3.
at?
Yeah, ranked third.
Oh, okay.
Behind Moreno and Royval. He's right there, man. That's another guy knocking on that door. But Pantoja is dangerous.
He is.
You know, I always underestimate him, and he always makes me, he makes me wrong. The guy is an amazing fighter, but Amir is there. You want an Amir? A Shishtawu? He's coming, man. For you.
How about the women's division? We picked 135 champion. I had Juliana Pena. You guys both had Myra Bueno Silva. The champion is Raquel Pennington, so we didn't get that one.
that was
125 champion. Freddie and I both picked Aaron Blanchfield. AJ picked Manon Fiorot. The champion is Grasso, Alexa
Valentina.
Grasso. So we didn't get that one. And 115 champion, we all picked Zhang Wei Li, and she is still champion, so that was good. We got that one. Not bad.
Yeah, but Fiorot is coming, dude. I didn't hit it on 2024, and I don't want to jump the gun, but she'll be there for 2025. That's Manon's year. Vive la France.
Okay. Well, do you want to start there for 2025, AJ? We could start
I'm
kind of descending, and you know what I mean?
and make our way to the top. Sounds good.
So 135, you're saying Manon is going to be the champion?
Yep.
AJ
she's
picking
destined to be
Manon
champion.
Fiorot to end the year as your 135-pound champion.
Yeah.
Is she
Fights
fighting
at
for the title?
120. No, she fights at 125.
Oh,
At the
AJ.
flyweight.
135 is Juliana's division, right?
right. I thought AJ was
So,
telling me one.
In that
120.
division, it's gonna be Kayla Harrison. She will be the champion by the end of the year.
I agree.
At the bantam? Yeah, I agree with Freddie there too. Kayla Harrison she's just stepping in, man. And she'll be
I mean-
champion. And if she does, she'll be there for a while.
And she's going to get the title shot, right?
She should.
think so.
I mean, she should. I mean, that's the interesting fight. That's the fight where you could, like, create some buzz. Like, I'm not sure. Like, out of all the female fighters right now, who would be the biggest stars? I mean, Kayla Harrison and Juliana Pena might be the two, like, biggest names, no? Because, I
Wait a
mean,
second. Wait a
As
second. Did I pick Juliana Pena? I picked Juliana Pena to be champion at 135. She is the champion.
Yeah.
I thought I
bet-
said she
yeah.
wasn't. I said Raquel Pennington was, but she beat Raquel Pennington,
No.
right?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
She's
When did this
champion,
happen?
man. Pena.
I forget. Man, as
and
Juliana's
Valentina's
number
the
one
champ.
fan, I
It's
should
not
know these things.
Grasso, by the way.
Is
You
not
said
Grasso?
Grasso was the champ. No, it's Valentina.
Oh, she took it back.
Yeah, Valentina's the champ.
Man, I am
That's what I
not
was saying
paying
about
attention.
Manon
Oh,
Fiorot.
yeah, she took it back. Man, I'm not paying attention to women's MMA these days. It's really like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
And
I don't
that's
even
what
know
I
who
was saying is that
champions are. That's sad.
Like Valentina's there, but Manon Fiorot is just
All
knocking
right.
on the door, man. She's gonna be able to beat her.
So 135, I got Kayla. We all have Kayla. 125.
Yeah.
Is
I'll
Kayla
agree
next?
with AJ.
Oh, Kayla's next for Juliana, right?
She should
Yeah.
be. Like I say, that's the biggest fight you could make in the women's division right now, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think
Pena
Kayla
versus
probably
Harrison.
takes it. I think you're right. 125. AJ's going with Manon Fiorot. Freddie, who you going
I'll
with?
agree. I'll agree
Really?
with AJ. Yeah.
Wow, Freddie. But you know what? It's inevitable. I mean, who else is there? Alexa Grasso, Erin Blanchfield, maybe Macy Barber. Manon
I think
Fiorot's a step
Valentina
above all of them.
will, like, I'm not confident. You know, like she has a lot of miles on a lot of fight miles on her body and all. Like she won back her title, but I'm not convinced she's going to keep it. And
How old is she
Fioro
now,
is
Fred?
still coming up, I feel. So I'm going to go with Fioro.
Yeah, what's her age, Dave? For Valentina.
Valentina.
sure.
Hang on.
Late 30s?
She is
Not sure,
36.
but she's just had a lot of fight.
36. She has a lot of fights. And I don't know when she's going to be fighting next. There's no date. Her last fight was back in September. Not that long ago.
Yeah.
But you would figure Manon Fiorot is right there. Manon's not young either, though, right? She came into the UFC a little late. She's 34. 12-1. Beat Erin Blanchfield back in March of last year. Hasn't fought since. What's the story?
Just not getting the fights, man. It could be a lot of things.
But you see, 12 and
Was it
1, she has
injury?
13 professional fights, whereas Valentina has 29 professional fights. Like, I don't know, man. She lost the title, and we weren't convinced she was going to win it back, and she did, and props to her. I'm not convinced she's going to keep it. Like, great fighter, future Hall of Famer. I'm going to go with some new blood, Fioro, winning the
Yeah.
title. I'm sticking
I
with
agree.
that pick.
We're going with a clean sweep. We're all picking Manon Fiorot to be the next champion at
Wow.
125. What about 115, Freddie? Guide us.
I think we're
Help
all
I'm
us.
gonna go
sticking
Zhang
to
Wei Li.
I'm sticking to Zhang Wei Li. I don't think anybody beats her.
Suarez is next. I don't think she beats Zhang Wei Li.
There's the other girl from China as well, Yan Zhuanan. She was pretty impressive.
She's
You know,
not beating Zhang
she's
Wei Li.
ranked third.
She already
She's
fought
not
her.
beating Zhang Wei Li.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
lost.
it's true. She did fight her. Yeah, she lost.
Yeah, she
but she
fought
was
her this
impressive
year.
in
She
that
lost.
fight. Yeah, but it
Zhang
was
Wei
a
Li
good
whooped her
fight.
ass.
Yeah, but she was impressive. How old
Come
is
on
she,
now.
that one? She's very young.
All right, how about 125 men's side? I'm going to go with, I think it's going to be Pantoja. I think Pantoja holds on. He's been looking good, man.
He has, man.
Yeah, Pantoja.
I'm going to go back to what I said, like, for 2024. I'm going to go with Amir Albazi, man. You know, so underrated. He's right there, ranked third. He's going to be fighting him at some point the year coming up. Amir will be Pantoja.
Amir Albazi is your pick, eh, AJ? Okay.
Yep, I'm not changing that one, man.
How about 135 right now? I know where a lot of us are going. I'm going with Umar. I think Umar beats Marab,
Mhm.
and Umar is champion. Freddie?
I'm gonna go with the people's champ, Merab
Oh.
Davishvili.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
You
and
think
know
he's
me,
going to
Dave, I'm
beat
sticking-
Umar?
I don't know. I
Oh.
just love the character. Maybe, like, I want to stay polite, but not maybe the sharpest tool in the shed. Like sometimes he'll do some dumb stuff. But I
it's
love
exciting.
Mirab. I love Mirab, the personality. I love his fighting. Go Mirab, another star. You see, that's another guy I'll qualify as a star. If you're an MMA fan, you should love Mirab.
I think he's what they call in the wrestling business a transitional champion. Just like Sean O'Malley was. Transitional champion until we get to the real champion, the final boss of 135, Umar Nurmagomedov, who's going to take over and hold that belt for a long time.
Just like Islam will and all the rest, right?
Just like Ilia Topuria will at 145. I don't think any of us are going to pick against Ilia holding that belt.
He might vacate. He might vacate it, man. He might be going up in weight because he's planning to go up to 155. So
there's talk.
That might be the reason.
Yeah, that would be the reason.
That might be the reason, yeah. Like, okay, I'm looking at the rest of the rankings, and that division needs Topuria to stay there. Because, Volkanovski, with all the losses he's had against Topuria, same thing for Holloway. Like, they wouldn't feel like legit champions right now. But, I'll say Topuria. Hopefully he stays. He goes up, loses to Makhachev, and comes back down to defend.
Yeah. AJ, Topuria?
Yeah, I'm going earlier with Umar because you didn't give me my pick there, but I'm going to stick with Umar because that's what I picked for 2024, and he will be champ in 2025. Topuria, man. That's a tough one, to pick against.
I knew you were
Especially
picking
with
Umar.
who's left
You
in
told
the
me you were
division.
picking Umar. You gave me your pick.
Yeah. Okay.
Up,
Just to make sure. I'm not
All right.
changing, man.
155. Anybody picking against Islam holding the belt for the rest of the year?
No.
Again, there's a lot of veterans in that division, They've all been manhandled, and, there's no real, up-and-comer that I can see in the top 10 that could be a threat to Islam. This guy's keeping it for a long time, and long enough that he might retire. He'll be the next Khabib, man.
How about at 170? Freddie, who do you got? Bilal, Shavkat, somebody else? What do you think?
I think Bilal's going to beat Shavkat right now. So that's my pick. So I got to go with Bilal. I don't see anybody else. It's either Bilal or Shavkat that's going to be the champion at the end of the year. And since I think Bilal's going to beat Shavkat, I got to pick Bilal.
You don't think Bilal defends more than once this year?
Yeah, but Bilal will beat Leon Edwards if they rematch. Bilal will beat, I think he would beat Kamaru Usman. I think he would beat Jack Della Maddalena. I think he would beat most of the top guys. Sean Brady's an interesting name, but he's ranked number 5. I don't think he gets all the way up there. So I think it's between Bilal and Shavkat. That's the next fight, which I think Bilal's going to win. And after that, maybe he fights again Leon or Kamaru or maybe somebody else.
I think he's got to beat Kamaru to cement his legacy. If he could beat Shavkat, I think they give him Kamaru after as kind of a big name pay-per-view money fight.
Let's remember that Kamaru Khamzat fight. Everybody was like, oh, Kamaru didn't look great or whatever. Khamzat beat a 170 guy. But in the end, the way that Khamzat destroyed Whitaker, maybe Kamaru didn't do too bad against Khamzat, and maybe Kamaru's still a legit contender for the title. Like we shouldn't write him off. It feels like he was a champ a long time ago now, and maybe he's bound to get back that title. But I'll stick with Bilal.
I'm going with Shavkat. I think Shavkat beats Bilal, takes the title. AJ, what do you think? Shavkat or Bilal? Somebody else?
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, there's a lot of new blood that's coming up, including Buckley that moved up 3 spots. He's ranked number 6. And you know what? The way he fought was like, holy shit, man. This guy's more impressive than I've ever thought. He's something to watch out for. He's not really under the radar anymore, but he's there. He's a threat for the future. Buckley's there. For sure, I agree with you. Usman is Usman, man. You can't count him out. He wasn't a champion and a beast forever. But really, and I like Bilal. I like the way he fights. I like the way he grapples. But Shavkat is just something special. And I think Shafkat is probably going to end up being on top at the end of 2025. But then you got Machado Gary there, and you've got, like, even the Sean Brady. There's a lot of guys in this division that'll make it exciting. This is going to probably be the most exciting division of all the UFC for 2025 if they have more than one fight in that, for that championship belt.
Yeah. What do you think about 185? You think Dricus holds on, or we see Strickland take it back? Maybe somebody else. Khamzat is waiting in the wings. Like 185 is volatile right now.
Man, that's a beautiful
I saw
one, too.
I saw some highlights of the last Dricus fight against Strickland, and I remember part of it where I felt Dricus won. I know it was a split decision, but I felt Dricus won that fight. And I think Dricus is going to win again the rematch. And I think Dricus is better than like Adesanya for sure. And I think he's better than Khamzat. So I'm going to go with Dricus being the champ at the end of the year.
That's a tough one, man.
Fred, I would have
taking it,
agreed
Dave?
with you before the Whitaker fight. But the way Khamzat absolutely manhandled Robert Whitaker convinced me that he is an elite 185er ready for the championship.
You're right,
and
Rogue.
I think ready to take the championship. I was really impressed by Khamzat this year. That fight against Whitaker was unbelievable. It's our submission of the year. It was nasty. I think he's going to be champion. I think he gets the title shot. I think the only thing that would stop him is maybe fighting Pereira instead for some weird reason. But I think as long as the trajectory stays normal and he does face the winner of Strickland and Dricus, then we do see Khamzat as the middleweight champion by the end of the year, which would be cool. AJ, what do you think?
That's a champ. Exactly that. That's a champion in the making. We said that for a long time. Khamzat, man. I mean, no one can out-wrestle this guy. This guy's the most dangerous grappler, wrestler, jiu-jitsu guy, whatever you want to call it, in the UFC. He is nasty. And he goes in there not just to win. He goes in there to destroy. Khamzat, even if he moves up to like light heavyweight, like a lot of rumors are going on right now, if this guy goes up against Pereira, you know what I mean? You can't not think that Khamzat will lose to Pereira. If he grapples Pereira, it's all over. It's all done. That's why, like, in that division, I like Dricus. I think Dricus is a great champion, very impressive, super strong, amazing cardio, but Khamzat's grappling is above. And Khamzat will be champion if he doesn't decide to go to the light heavyweight. And if he does, man, he could be the light heavyweight champion there.
I don't think he could beat Pereira.
On the ground, Dave, let's be honest. Who is more of a, like, that guy is not
I don't
normal.
think he's big enough to get him there.
Oh, he's big, dude. He's big. His walking weight is not like,
Pereira is gigantic, man. We were just talking about Pereira moving up to heavyweight. I mean, come on. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, I think I would pick Pereira, but you never know, man. Fighting is fighting.
I agree.
Crazy things happen.
I agree with Rogue there. Rogue is on the chat, and he says it like, you can't. Pereira has underrated grappling, and look, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He has grappling to like top level above any one of us, that's for sure. But he doesn't have like Khamzat grappling. Khamzat grappling is on another level, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Of course. He's incredible, but I just think size is going to play a factor if they do fight.
Does size really matter in wrestling to some extent?
Why do they have weight classes?
They do. I agree with you, but
why do guys cut weight? Why does any of that happen if size doesn't matter?
You're right. You're right. To some extent, you're right. But having, Khamzat is my guy of the future.
I understand a little bit of what AJ says, because like the difference of size could be compensated with the years of experience that Khamzat has.
Yeah.
If it's a grappling fight, I would give him the edge, but I think Pereira has a good enough takedown defense where he would make it hard, and I would lean towards Pereira in that fight also. But as far as my light heavyweight champion, I'm going to go with Ankalaev. He's going to get the title shot, and he's bigger than Khamzat, and he's going to give problems to Pereira, and that's going to be my choice for light heavyweight champion, Magomed Ankalaev.
I'm agreeing. As long as he gets the fight, I mean, I feel like I pick him every year to win. As long as he gets the fight, I think he's going to be champion, but he's got to get that fight. And Pereira yesterday saying it won't be Ankalaev worries me. But
Yeah.
I agree with Fred. AJ, what do you think? Pereira, Ankalaev, Khamzat? Who's
Look-
your light heavyweight champion? You already picked Khamzat as your
Well-
middleweight champion. Can you pick him to be both?
Look, if he does step into the light heavyweight, I'm going to put my money on Hamzat. But let's just say he's sticking in the middleweight and I'm just going light heavyweight. Magomed is like, we called this guy you actually called it longer than anybody, Dave. He's a beast and he's there, you know? But I don't think that fight's going to happen. For some reason, Dana is not going to make that fight. I think Pereira is going to fight, you know, someone else other than Magomed. I think I'm going to leave it with Pereira as still the champion for 2025.
All right. Staying with the champ is never a bad move. He's the current champ. There's a good chance he can stay champ. Champions only tend to fight once, twice at most a year, although Pereira did fight 3 times this year. How about
He did.
heavyweight champion of the world at the end of the year? Will it be John Jones? Will it be Tom Aspinall? Will it still be both men? Will it
John
be
Jones.
neither?
This is a tough one.
I think it'll be John Jones. My prediction is John Jones. As long as he doesn't retire. If John Jones is still active, it'll be John Jones. If John Jones retires, it'll be Tom Aspinall. If they fight, it'll be John Jones.
This is my prediction, okay? John Jones is at a point in his life where he doesn't fight that often, and he's only going to fight next November back in New York against Tom Aspinall. That's where it's going to happen. Maybe Aspinall has another fight before that. Maybe not, but that's where I predict it's happening. John Jones versus Tom Aspinall in November in New York, 2025. John Jones wins. If he retires, at that point, maybe he's not the champion considered, but that would be me losing on a technicality. So
He'd be
I'm
champion.
okay with it. My pick.
He'd be the champion.
John Jones.
I'd give it to you. I'm picking John Jones.
I
to
mean, title
retire.
probably wouldn't be
as
given.
champion.
Yeah, exactly. John Jones.
Man, I'd say John Jones, but he's like
AJ.
he's walking into a movie career.
gonna be
He's
wrong
he made
again.
His first, listen, he made his first like military movie. He's starting to shift focus. That's what worries me. He's starting to shift
Who
focus.
are you picking
John
as your
Jones.
heavyweight champion at the end of the
I'm
year?
telling you right now.
pendejo?
Who do you think I think is going to be
Tom
it?
Aspinall.
I think
Because you're a hater.
Not John Jones. I know you're
No.
not picking John Jones.
You
You,
never
never
pick
pick
John
John
man,
Jones.
I think listen, man,
You're
I think
always
John
wrong,
Jones on
but
all the fights.
It's all good.
Listen, I love John Jones, man. John
No, you
Jones
don't.
is my buddy. Of course he did, man.
You
He did like
hate
the
John
Trump like
Jones.
dance there. Did you see him do that like Trumpy dance? You should like him too, Dave.
Now you like
Hey,
him.
Freddie. No, listen. I like John Jones. You know, I'm not going to deny like he's probably one of the greatest fighters of all time. But this Tom Aspinall, man, again, he has that wow factor. There's
John
something
Jones.
about him. John Jones is the man, but it's his time is coming, dude. He's starting to make movies. Who else made movies? Conor McGregor? Roadhouse? They start shifting focus, man. Jones' first film, man, in some military movie. I don't know what it is. Check it up, Dave. Not a
All
good
right.
Greatest
sign.
of all time.
I'm just looking back
he
on our
might-
predictions throughout the years. Our predictions back in 2021 for our 2022 predictions, we all had Hamzat. Oh, sorry. Me and AJ had Hamzat ending the year as welterweight champion. And then the next year, I think we had Hamzat. No, not. Well, next year, we all gave up on Hamzat. We didn't put him as champion anywhere. And then for 2024, we all had Hamzat. Or no, I had Hamzat as my middleweight champion. I brought him back. It's just weird how he's kind of been around and we've predicted him to be a champion for so many years, and it's just never happened with him. Will 2025 finally be the year? We all... well, AJ and I think it will be. But AJ, you and I predicted he would be welterweight champion at the end of 2022, and that never happened, dude. So what the hell do we know? You know what I mean? We keep believing in Hamzat, and he never quite gets there.
Yeah, but he always delivers when he fights. That's the difference, man.
Yeah, he's undefeated.
And,
It's
you know,
bizarre.
That's the thing. Look, sometimes, you got to wait and be patient for good things. And Hamzat is one of them. He's not in a rush, this guy, man. He's not in a rush. He was driving taxis, like I saw on some like Reddit video. Like he was like driving taxis with some people. I mean, the guy is, he's funny, man.
We've also been
But
predicting Magomed Ankalaev to be the light heavyweight champion since 2022.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's
It's been
happen
like
at some
3
point.
years, 4 years. We expected it to happen. Just never.
Time
come along.
flies.
It's weird,
Time
right?
flies. I just saw a meme pass that says it's been 20 years since Stringer Bell told Omar and Brother Muzon to get on with it.
Wow.
20 years.
20 years, man. Rest in peace, Stringer Bell. We love you. We miss you.
I've been watching the McMahon film, by the way, on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
I like that guy, man. I like him more now than ever.
That's not the message you're supposed to get from that movie, AJ. I don't think you're understanding.
No,
I mean, he's
do,
probably
man.
not in the. He says that he's probably like on episode 2, so he's
Yeah,
not
he's
like
like,
on the
wow,
contract.
I'm
Vince
actually
really
on
created
episode-
an empire. Seems like a great
I
guy.
am on episode 2. Good, yeah, good prediction there, Freddie. But all I can say is that like the guy had a vision, man, and he delivered. He took it from his dad, and he made an empire, man.
Here-
The guy is
Here's my
is-
here's my next prediction. You won't get past episode 2.
really. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah. I could see that.
It's like you never
Does it
got
get-
past season 1 of The Sopranos or something like that. Like I'm not even sure
No,
you finished season 1.
No, I did. I refused to watch The Sopranos in the early days because I said, it's stereotype Italians, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then one day I was bored and The Sopranos came on and I was stuck watching it. And then it became my favorite show ever. And that was like, I forgot what episode.
But you
the
never
season was.
finished
I think it was-
watching it. It's your favorite show ever. You never watched to the end?
Yeah, I did. But I started watching I think it was season 9 or something. It was the season just before it ended. I was on the last parts of The Sopranos.
So you
I
had
watched
never
everything
seen the
over.
beginning.
No, I did. I watched. Yes, I ended up going backwards. Yes, I went from whatever it was 9, 10, and back to 1.
9 and 10.
9 and 10. He
Cool.
got killed. That's for sure.
So, guys, this is our final show of Ringside Report MMA for 2024. We're going to take a couple weeks off. The UFC is off for a couple of weeks. The UFC does not have another event until, what is it? It's
There's one
January.
before the pay-per-view, no? Isn't
Yeah.
there? Or is the next one the pay-per-view?
No, next one's January 11th at the Apex. It's a UFC fight night. Mackenzie
Yeah.
Dern, Amanda Hebus in the main event,
Oh.
AJ.
Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the week we're going to
Mhm.
be back, I think. 'cause
That's when
I'm
we
off
come
for
back.
2
We'll be
weeks.
back that
What a
week.
great
for the
way to
preview.
start the year.
Yeah. We'll kick off the year when the UFC comes back. We'll take next week off for the Christmas holiday. Hanukkah begins next.
Mazel
it's
tov.
Christmas night is when Hanukkah starts. So Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Holidays to everybody and Happy New Year as well, as we will not see you until the new year. But I'll be back tomorrow night.
Ooh,
with
did you hear
Johnny
that?
North.
Rogue, man. Did you see what Rogue just said? I like this
No.
guy, Rogue. I'm gonna have to send my
my God.
headshot
Take
to
it easy.
a certain.
So I'll be back tomorrow
Mackenzie.
night with Johnny
How's this
North, and
supposed-
Johnny and I will be here throughout the holidays. We're not really taking a show off, I don't think, because WWE and AEW, I mean, they are full on. There's a lot going on. AEW has a pay-per-view in a couple weeks. It's in a couple weeks? No, it's next week. It's not this Saturday. It's next Saturday. AEW World's End is next Saturday, the 28th of December. So we got a lot of pro wrestling to cover. AEW is heating up right now. They're gearing up for a big show at the end of the year. WWE's got their Raw on Netflix coming up January 6th. So they are very, very pumped up for that. They've already announced Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for Monday Night Raw
CM Punk.
on Netflix, the premiere January 6th. So WWE and AEW, no breaks, heating up, a lot to cover. So we're going to be here every Friday night, 10 p.m., as we are throughout the year all the time. We'll be here tomorrow night And next week and the week after and the week after that, forever and ever and ever and ever. Because that's what we do here on the Ringside Report Network. We cover MMA when there's MMA, and then even when there's not, we still come around and fuck around. But we cover pro wrestling when there's pro wrestling each and every week, constantly. And we will be doing that tomorrow night, myself and Johnny. No breaks, no days off, always working. The hustle never stops.
Wow.
We love it. Thank you, Angelo, for the very generous gift. Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays. He says, thank you for another great year of MMA talk. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all. Thank you, Angelo. We appreciate you very much. You are a good man, a great supporter to the Ringside Report Network. Angelo Contagonis out in Laval, Quebec. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you to all.
We love you.
Thank you to all the members. Yes, indeed, we do. All the members supporting. I see Lior tonight. I see Angelo. And everybody else supporting over at join.ringsidereport.net and membership.ringsidereport.net. We appreciate you guys supporting the Ringside Report Network throughout the year, keeping us going strong. And we will have plenty more content, plenty more action coming for you in 2025. I have some plans. I have some big plans.
You do?
I have some investments coming. I have all sorts of
Hair
things.
transplant for me? What?
I have a plan for the set here, AJ, in studio. Maybe we'll
I've
do
been
more
telling you that
in
for
studio
years, man.
stuff. Take it easy. I have different plans that you're not involved in.
Can I
so
look
don't
at your
worry.
plans so I can say yes, no? Can I take a look at them?
No. And we have a new sponsor. Should I push that? Should I say something about the new
Yes, of
sponsor
course.
coming up? Or
Yes, Dave. It's important.
the UFC
It's,
Fight Club is a
sponsored.
new sponsor of the show. So welcome UFC Fight
Wow.
Club to the show. We appreciate you guys, and we will be telling you more about them in the new year here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again.